The game that I played was called Ayiti, The Cost of Life. It was on the Games for Change website. They didn't have an age rating, but I would say ages 7 and up. Definitely ages 8 and up could play this game. I thought it was very similar to Oregon Trail in that you have a family of 5, the Guinard family, that you are in charge of keeping alive for 4 years, and you have to keep them alive through 4 seasons each year. Um, so you have the dry season, the rainy season, the hurricane season, and summer. And so there's 16 rounds, you might say, for each um, game. And you have to pick roles for each member of the family. They can have a job or volunteer. They can work the family farm, go to school, rest, or they can seek medical help if they need it. If the parents die, the game is over. And that's pretty much it. Your goal is to, keep everybody alive for the 4 years, get them as much education as you can, keep them healthy, and earn money. And I probably played the game at least a dozen times before I was able to keep my family alive. They kept getting sick. I would, try to get them education rather than work to earn money, and education costs money. So when people got sick, I didn't have the money to get them the medical care they needed, and they died. Um, so the way I eventually figured things out was that if I earned enough money, they could play, they could stay alive, but I never really earned enough money to get them much education. So that long term, my family was not going to be doing very well, but I at least kept them alive for the 4 years. Um, I think that, from my perspective, I actually think the game is set up so that it is almost impossible to do more than just survive. And after I kept playing the game, I thought, well, maybe that's kind of their point, is that it is impossible to do more than just survive in Haiti at this point. Um, the changes that I would make to the game is that I wish there was more interaction, that you got to make more decisions or take more of an active part. Once you kind of decide the roles that you have assigned each family member to, you basically just tell it to start the season and let things go for the minute or two that things go, and then it's like, okay, here's what happened this season, and then you have to make changes to their roles, etc. So I wish there was more interaction, more things to do rather than just kind of picking random things and then letting it go for a minute or two. I also, at the beginning of the game, it has you choose what they call a strategy, whether it's happiness, education, health, or money. But it doesn't matter what you choose at that point, as to what happens in the game. It's not like you have more money to begin with, or you have more education opportunities, or even more health opportunities, etc. So I'm not really sure what the point was in picking that strategy, because it didn't impact anything after the game or in the game. And then after you finish the game, after either people die or after you survive, it has sort of a true and false quiz that things like, money is most important because without money you can't pay to do such and such, or health is most important, and so you just answer true or false, and then click OK. Again, that doesn't impact anything in the game. I think it's just more to bring consciousness or awareness to the player as to what they think after playing the game. So it could be interesting things to talk about, like if the kids all play the game to then talk about how their opinions of any of this changed. I think it could be a helpful tool. Um, I don't know that you learn a whole lot about Haiti by playing this game, but I do think that it's helpful in showing how hard it is to overcome all of the things that these families have stacked against them. That they don't have means to an education, they don't have access to, good health care. They don't have access to good jobs, that sort of thing. So I think it is good to show how hard it is, but that it can also be highly frustrating and depressing, because, as an adult, like I said, I played a dozen times before I was able to keep them alive. I'm not sure a kid is going to keep trying that many times, although maybe they'll see it as a challenge and they will. Um, so I would give the game a rating of a 3 out of 5, just because it's not very interactive, as far as learning about the culture or making decisions beyond placing your family members in different jobs, etc. You don't learn a lot about Haiti by playing the game. You just learn a lot about what it must be like to live in poverty and how difficult that is. Um, so I think it's worth a try. I would be interested to know what other people think. I do think it needs to be made probably a little bit more similar to Oregon Trail in that you have more choices to make. Um, but I think I'm going to ask my daughters who are 9 to play it later, and let me know what they think.